Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to look at Romans chapter 14, verse 1 through chapter 15, verse 13. So in this section here, Paul is basically talking about how different Christians are to relate to one another, especially when people have different views on different things. And he gives some examples. He starts by saying things like some people might follow the dietary laws, while other people don't follow the dietary laws. Some people might see one day in the week to be more important than the other days, whereas some people think all the days of the week are important. Some people might think that it's okay to eat meat, whereas other people might think it's not okay to eat meat. So he gives all of these different kinds of examples, and he says that everybody comes at this from different perspectives. So then how are we to deal with it? Paul's point here is that just because you think one way about these things and your neighbor thinks something different, that does not give you the right to look down upon them. In fact, it should make you pause and think about your own behavior. Would your behavior hurt their faith? So, for example, the eating meat item that he gives. He will also bring this up in another letter. So this is not the first time that he talks about this topic. Some people think that eating meat offered to idols is wrong because it's being offered to an idol. But some people think, yeah, it's okay because those idols aren't really God anyway. They're just statues, so you can still eat the meat. So if you think eating meat is okay, that could hurt someone else's faith because they might think, oh, you're worshiping an idol. Even when you think the idol's just a statue, it's not really God, right? It's okay. Paul is calling his audience here to think about their own behavior. Even if I think doing this thing is okay, would it hurt my neighbor if they see me doing it? This is a really good thing for us to think about today, too. Sometimes some Christians are very strict in how they live. Others seem more loose in how they live. Sometimes that difference can be a cause for division. But Paul is reminding us, even if you think a little differently than your neighbor, think about how your behavior is seen by your neighbor. Would you doing this thing hurt your neighbor? If so, then don't do it. Just because you can do this, like just because you can eat meat, doesn't mean you have to, right? Your neighbor, to them, this is wrong. So why would you do it in front of them when you know it could hurt them? One example today might be drinking alcohol. Some Christians think it's okay. Some Christians think it's not okay. If you are one who thinks, yeah, it's okay to have a drink every now and then, I mean, obviously not going out and getting drunk, that's a different issue. But if you think, yeah, it's okay to have a drink now and then, but your neighbor thinks it's not, then just don't have a drink when you're with them, right? Don't do something that could hurt their faith. Sometimes Christians think, oh, I can kind of do whatever I want because it's just me and Jesus. No, it's not. Other people are seeing the way that you live as a Christian. They're watching you. You are setting an example for them. And so if you do something, even though you think it's okay, that they think is wrong, that could mess with them. That could hurt them. They might think, how in the world are you representing Jesus by doing this thing? So Paul's comments here are a reminder to us to think about our own behavior and how it's perceived by others. At the end of this section, Paul says, welcome others as Christ welcomed you. That's a very important thing to remember. Think about the people that Christ welcomed, right? These were all kinds of different people, especially people who were on the bottom of society, right? These were the ones that he welcomed. He didn't say, oh, you're different than me, so go away. I'm right, you're wrong. No, he didn't do that. Paul here is reminding us not to do that either. He's saying that those who can do something doesn't mean that you have to do the thing. Jesus could have done all sorts of things, but he chose to be with those who were at the bottom of society. He chose to live his life in such a way that he showed love to people. That's really what it's about. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Paul is reminding his original audience of that, and he's reminding us of that. Because in all things, it's about welcoming others as Christ has welcomed us. There's your 5-minute Bible study. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.